Hey guys, and welcome back. In less than 2 weeks time now, the Premier League season will finish. Newcastle, because of the fact that we drew 2-2 away to Leeds, we are now guaranteed to finish in the top 6. That is done and dusted. We are already in the top 6 no matter what. It's up to us now in the 2 remaining home matches to get out at St James's Park with war flags there, with all the fans eager to see the football. We have to ensure we can get top 4 football. I can't say it anymore. Newcastle, no matter what, have had a brilliant season, but considering of the position we were in, I'll be gutted and disappointed we don't get top 4. We won't get a better opportunity at this. We've got to get there. I really think we can do it. I know Brighton have picked up a huge win away to Arsenal yesterday, but I'm telling you now at St James's Park, we can beat anyone if we play well, and that's just how it's been the last couple of games. Newcastle just haven't been at their best, and unfortunately, we need to be at our best at this part of the season. So it's up to us now. If we don't get top 4 football, we only have ourselves to blame. That's just how I see it. But anyway, guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new around here and you like what you're watching, make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe button. For the first time in quite a long time, actually, we have transfer news to get into. Of course, with where Newcastle are now in the season, we are going to see this a lot more in terms of transfers. It's going to start to spike up a lot now because Newcastle will be going out scouting players, targeting players. We will be going in and getting the players we want for next season. No matter what, we're playing European football, which means that we need a bigger squad in order to play more matches. And if we don't get Champions League football, we're playing on a Thursday and a Sunday. So it's up to us to make sure that we can get the players available to play both of those games, because that won't be easy and it will take a strain in our squad. But yeah, if you like what you're watching, make sure you get down there, smash that like button. Let me know down in the comment section your thoughts on all the news we discussed in this video. But anyway, that's about it from me. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. Let's begin by talking about the aftermath from the Leeds United game, and in particular, Eddie Howe, because his health and safety was breached towards the back end of a match, as somehow a Leeds United fan was able to get onto the pitch, get behind Eddie Howe. The guy had a good 5 seconds before security even dragged him away. All it takes is for that Leeds fan to punch the manager from behind. God forbid he conceals a weapon on him. All it takes is for him to do something stupid, and then you're looking at a crime scene. And the fact that he wasn't stopped sooner is ridiculous. I just can't believe what the security was doing. Why are we not stopping this guy earlier? He's clearly not an athlete. He's clearly someone that hasn't got much pace in him. He should have been stopped before he got to that dugout, and it's not good enough from Leeds United. But that wasn't the thing I mainly wanted to talk about. It's the mainstream media afterwards, because Eddie Howe got criticised for the incident. Never mind the Leeds United fan. Someone on TalkSport actually called out Eddie Howe because he got confronted by a Leeds fan. I've never seen anything like it before. How on earth have we got to this stage? So I wanted to talk about this in the video because it's hilarious. What on earth is even going on anymore? Because of the fact that Newcastle are Saudi Arabia owned, Eddie Howe got criticised for being confronted by a Leeds United fan. I mean, I must be dreaming or something. What is going on here? So yeah, let's just talk about that part of the video now. Max Rushden over at TalkSport made an extremely controversial comment about Eddie Howe, following on from the Leeds United incident. So pretty much under his deluded mindset, because of the fact that Eddie Howe does not choose to answer questions about Saudi Arabia's human rights issues in his press conferences at Newcastle United, he also, according to Max, should not be allowed to talk about his own health and safety because of the morals behind the both. I mean, first off, how on earth he managed to correlate the two of those together? There's absolutely no correlation between Eddie Howe getting confronted by a Leeds United fan and Saudi Arabia's human rights activities. How you been able to get the two of those together, I will never know. And secondly, why should Eddie Howe have to answer those questions about Saudi Arabia? He's not in that position where he should have to answer those. He's the manager in Newcastle United. Yes, he works for the PIF, but he's not really a part of the PIF. He just works in Newcastle United. He manages a football team. He's there to get results on the table. He's not there to talk about Saudi Arabia. It's just that simple, really. For example, I remember from the Tottenham takeover, so the first game we had since the takeover, I remember a lot of mainstream media was standing outside St James's Park and they were interviewing fans. I remember I had to do one for Australia. I think it was like a TV channel over in Australia where I was just getting bombarded with questions about Saudi Arabia's human rights issues. I mean, I'm not really in a position where I can answer those questions. I'm a football fan. I'm not really somebody that knows everything over there. I'm not somebody that can really be educated enough to talk about that. So how mainstream media can expect Newcastle fans, Newcastle players and Eddie Howe to actually discuss these sort of topics. I don't understand it at all. It's malicious. I feel like it's targeted. It's just a case where it's easy journalist writing, really, because of the fact that Saudi Arabia is so controversial. Newcastle United, Saudi Arabia, you can just make an easy article out of it. So it's a case where the likes of Eddie Howe will get targeted quite a bit. And I mean, it's a pile of rubbish, really. So for Max to actually come out and physically say that Eddie Howe should not be allowed to talk about his own health and safety because of the morals behind the fact he chooses not to answer questions in Saudi Arabia, it's just, what? It's so delusional. I don't understand this at all. My only outcome I can really take away from this is the fact that TalkSport, of course, a radio station where people can call him. I'm assuming he's got this reaction from Newcastle fans just so we can call into his radio station so he will make more money from it. That's the only thing I can assume, really. I don't get why else he would make this comment. It's just somebody that is so out of the radar now, trying to get himself back into the limelight. It's pathetic. It's such a deluded, stupid comment, and he's going to have to face the backlash from it because it's just unbelievable. I don't know how Eddie Howe should be blamed for that. It's incredible. So yeah, I just want to talk about that quickly because it's ridiculous. Now that we are past all of that crap over at TalkSport, we can now finally talk about the transfer news that has came out for us this morning. First time in quite a long time where Newcastle actually have concrete information as a fan base of what we can expect from the club once that summer window opens. And this player is being DOMINIK SZOBOSZLAI, I think is how you pronounce it. So it's been reported as an exclusive by Sky Sports that Newcastle have been scouting the 22-year-old. We sent across somebody for the Werder Bremen game. This is his stats on the screen. Yeah, pretty good return for a 22-year-old, I've got to be honest. Somebody that a lot of fans are quite eager on. Somebody that is classed as an up-and-coming world-class player. And for us, it's been said by Sky Sports that we are targeting 3 players, being a centre-back, centre-mid and a right winger. So we'll see how correct that is in the summer. I would probably rather quality over quantity, to be fair. I'm somebody that believes that Newcastle probably will get 5 to 6 players in, but probably of lesser quality, I would say. So some players that might just be there to be floating in and around the first team. But I want players that are beating our first team as players that are going to start every single match. And that's kind of the target I would aim for. So if it's a case that Newcastle will go out and sign 3 players that would definitely start over 5 to 6, that maybe I'm not too sure. I would much rather prefer that. So DOMINIK has actually also came out in the press conference after the game stating that his future isn't clear at Leipzig. He's stated that he's definitely not sure and staying. So it's a case where he hasn't committed his future. He wants Champions League football. First off, I mean, we have to be able to get Champions League football. That's going to be a case of a lot of these signs, to be fair. If we get Europa League football, we'll be less enticed to join. As some players just want Champions League football. It's that simple. So yes, some of these are probably bandwagon jumpers. They're going to be players that just want to get in straight away. But unfortunately, that's just how football is. So it's up to us to get that position. This is a player I do like the look of. I think Newcastle definitely players out wide. We clearly lack the options. Anthony Gordon, God, I mean, bless him, he's still quite young, but this hasn't really clicked as quickly as I think we need them to. As for our players, Almiron, some fans might argue he's had a bit of a purple patch. Players like Jacob Murray's had a brilliant season, but again, I want players in there that we know is going to score goals on a weekly basis, or at least in that position where they look like they're going to score on a weekly basis. We don't really seem to have those out wide players. So it's a case now with someone like DOMINIK SZOBOSZLAI. He's going to be a great player, and for me, yeah, I think we should sign him. It's also important to know that he actually has a €70 million release clause in his contract. So Newcastle want to sign him. I think that's equivalent to around £50 million, which is quite a lot for him, but it's not something outrageous. I think Newcastle, if we really wanted to sign, we could activate it. But under Amanda Staveley murder, we've got smart owners here. They will negotiate. They'll get what we need to get. And for Newcastle, listen, there'll be plenty more players jotting up. But that's the main one we want to talk about. So we have sent scouts over to watch him play. We clearly want to sign the players in our transfer list. We'll have to see what our players are on that list. We'll see whether the Sky Sports leak will change anything, because again, Newcastle might back away now that mainstream media are starting to talk about it. Time will tell. Patience is a virtue, as Murdered would say. So we'll stick back. We'll see what happens regarding him. But expect an exciting window for Newcastle. I do expect us to sign at least a few players. I'll rather quality over quantity, but I stand by that. I think Newcastle will sign a few players because we need that squad depth for next season. We pick up some injuries. For example, a striker, let's say Wilson gets injured, he's stuck with the arm for the entire season. which is just not good enough. We need the squad depth in there. We have to be ready for next season, because under European football, the pressure will mount even more. The stress levels will come up. We'll get fatigue, we'll pick up injuries. We have to be ready for those. But I can't stress how important this window is going to be for the future of the club. So we get out there, we get the signs we need to get. Of course, where we finish the Premier League table will dictate those signs, because Champions League football will be far easier to get players than if we were to get in the Europa League. So it's extremely important we can go out on that pitch and we can win those remaining 2 matches. Without, of course, let's say Liverpool lost to Leicester tonight. Unlikely, but all it takes is for them to mess up as well. But we have to do our job. We cannot rely on Liverpool. We have to go out there and do our work. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts down below. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much. And I will see you all in the next one.